Time that we have an honest talk. My name is Cedric, and it's time that we have an honest talk. There are many issues that are plaguing the country now uh, when it talks to, as it relates to people, how they get along, race relations, politics, religion. It's time that we have an honest talk, a real talk. I like to have your input, your honest feedback, and let's have a talk because a lot of people they don't talk anymore. They just kind of like hide behind the screen. Your comments are very important. Your input is important. The one thing that we all must remember that it's time that we have an honest talk. So many people they hide behind many masks and they're not really being themselves. What they end up doing is they go through a facade and then you have breakdowns and people be tripping. But it's time that we really have a real talk about, you know, life and the things that happen in life. The one subject I want to talk about that's near and dear to me is how the church is probably one of the most segregated times in America. We have the evangelicals or evangelicals. I can't even say the word correctly. We have the black church, the state of the black church, the Catholic church, the white church, and then politics. Those things are, you know, off limits for a lot of people, but then folks really can't have an honest discussion about those things. I say that it's time that we have an honest talk because so many people just when I talk to people, what I find is most people aren't open, honest, and really know how to have a real discussion. So to me, it's time that we start to form a dialogue of honest talk. So many of us we mask so many things in life, period, to where we're not having the discussions anymore. We hide behind social media. Um, in a sense that we kind of agree, but then there's no real discussion. There is I mean, it's not that let me rephrase that. It's not that we don't have real discussion. Our dialogue is never open and honest. Sometimes it's time to pull off the mask and let's have the conversation. Because the one thing that I think we lack is us really having a real discussion and hearing each other's points. We have a tendency to wait to talk and not really listen. But it's true that we do need to take this time to have an honest talk. As we um, venture into these different topics, it's time that we really have a real honest talk. Let's take the church and its stance. You have people that have different views and opinions, but really they're not really having an honest talk. I mean, nobody really is taking the time to hear each other out and listen as it relates to race and the state of race. Some people think that racism exists and other people feel that it doesn't exist. Somewhere along the line, there seems to be a divide here. On one hand, you have people that think that, hey, everything is good, and others think everything is bad. Where do you stand when it comes to getting along with others? Is it just about race? Is it just about people not liking each other? What is the real issue? Some people, I've even heard it, that they say that racism is at an all time high and it's worse than it's ever been. Has it ever really changed? Does it really exist? Is this something that the media uh, perpetrates and perpetuates and make it worse than what it really is? I think it's time to really have a real talk. Just my lights here, because the more the more that we talk about this stuff, the more that we realize that, hey, look, we're all just people, people with ideas. If anything, all you're getting, you want to get to understand each other. Can't get to understand each other unless you learn to talk to each other. And so, what I find most interesting is we're not really having the discussions like we used to. The dialogue is not really open. People have learned to, you know, state their point, but not necessarily have a discussion. It's time to have discussion about these things and really start to open up. Let's take religion and how I made the statement, and that church is probably one of the most segregated times in America. It really is, because when it comes to differences, sometimes you know we treat our food, and this is a place that really we learn about God. And one of Jesus's commandments is, he said, a new commandment that I give unto you: love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and love thy neighbor as thyself. Now, if we truly love our neighbor as ourselves, I think sometimes it wouldn't be as segregated as it is. We have different ideas, different perspectives, and which is fine. I think that we're all individuals, but it should be one common theme: to love the Lord thy God with all of our heart, and love your neighbor as yourself. I think sometimes we have a tendency to treat animals better than we treat human beings. To me, which is it's a sad time in America when you have more humans that are homeless than dogs. But then on the other hand, I mean, if a dog, it's funny how there was a time growing up. There was a time growing up when I'd seen a lot of stray dogs. I don't see too many stray dogs running around anymore. And it's almost as if, it's funny. Matter of fact, you hardly ever even see stray cats. You see them every now and then because they have a tendency to run in packs. But, it's almost as if, if the church is what we call the salt of the earth, or the seasoning, or the thing that preserves the integrity of the earth. Jesus said that if the salt has lost its savor, then it's no good. What is a savor? Savor is something that really preserves the life of something. And so, with that being said, us being in such a divided, segregated state, really you tend to have more of your own opinion without having another person's input, which is a scary thought. We were put on this earth not to be here by ourselves. We're not an island in no stretch of the word. Studies do show that people that have no nurturing tend to die off sooner than people that do have nurturing. Um, what we have to do is learn to really engage each other and take the time to listen. We're embarking on a brand new year, 2019. What I want to say, because this is um, December 30th and we're going into New Year's Eve and then New Year's. To start off the year, one thing that's kind of magical about each year and how the years they do change, and we have this sense of new hope. Every year we make resolutions and proposals and things like that. I want to encourage each of you to take the time to write these ideas out and really focus on completing those things instead of trying to create 20 resolutions. Create 5 that you can live by. And sometimes I think that when you write them down, commit to them. Make it a point to commit to what it is that you're committing to. If nothing else, as it relates to race and relation, I think we all have the same human basic need. We all want to be loved. We all want to be respected. We all want to feel safe. And I think we all want to take care of our families. That has nothing to do with race. That's just human decency. And as it relates to the church, sometimes we have our differences, but if you learn to bend a little bit, sometimes you find out that, hey, look, some things that we are used to, we can incorporate other things. If we are truly a nation and that one nation under God, that means that we all share a common interest and a common bond. So many people, I believe, don't really have any kind of belief system. None. And when you fail, or when you stop dreaming, that's a dangerous thing. Going through life just existing and not really having a true purpose and a true meaning. What is the real meaning of life? Are we just here just to be here? We live, we work a job, and then we die? Is that what's life? If that's what life is about, is it? I don't know.